In this first part of a two-part introduction to DJing with the Lemur, I'll show you how to set up a simple and intuitive mixing console and clip navigation system. As you can see, my DJ setup consists of 3 tracks, or virtual turntables, and each song is split into several clips. These are loops or sections of songs, so that I can play any part of the song whenever I like. The first thing I'm going to do is set up a simple mixer. So first of all, let's connect to the Lemur. I'm going to add 3 faders, one to control the level of each track. I can just drag and drop, resize, and then copy and paste to lay out the screen as I want it. Once we're happy with that, we can select each fader and then click on the little auto assign box to choose a controller number. That's chosen a different controller number for each fader now, and now we can go to live and map it. We can also set minimum and maximum values. I've chosen to set a maximum of 0 dB. Once we've done this for each track, we can perform our first smooth mix. I can start by bringing down the level on track C, and then after firing a clip on this track, I can gradually fade the music in. And then follow on by fading out the music on track A. Now we have the very basic functionality of a DJ mixer. If we need something so we can control the frequencies to emulate the EQ section. Instead of having the typical 3-band EQ, high, low and mid, I'm going to actually have 2 filters, a high pass and a low pass filter. So I can take out the highs or take out the lows. You can see I'm using this range object here, a little bit like a fader. But instead of just having one value, it actually has 2 values. So I can drag the bottom or the top to give out 2 individual parameters. Clicking the auto assign button will automatically give me 2 control change messages for each object. For these filters, I'm going to use the EQ8 object in Ableton Live. And I'm going to deactivate bands 2 and 3 and just have bands 1 and 4, where I'll activate the high pass and the low pass modes, and then change the Q factor to something I find relatively flat, so when the filters are fully open, it doesn't affect the sound too much. Once I have the device set up on track A, I can copy drag it to B and C. The bottom of the range object is assigned to the high pass filter, and the top of the range object is assigned to the low pass. Now we can check it and see just how easy it is to control these high and low pass filter settings with a touchscreen. Now we just do the same for tracks B and C. This is going to allow us to do a really smooth filter-based mix. I'm going to bring in track B, so I'm going to first of all bring the level down, and I can use the filter controls to shape the sound, so we only have a very thin band of frequencies coming through. I can add in more highs and more lows with this intuitive pinching action. I can do a bass cut on track C. And then drop the bass in on B. You can see that using these intuitive controls, you can put a track into the mix or take it back out of the mix in a way that's much smoother and more interesting than a plain fade. Controlling the high and the low pass filter like this is a bit like having a band pass filter, and in fact we can set it up so that we can fix the distance between the high and low frequency cutoffs, so we actually have that. The range object on the Lemur has a hold mode where you can move the bottom and the top portion of the object simultaneously. So let's set that up. The Jazz editor has a useful synchronize function. Now whatever's shown on the Jazz editor is exactly representing the position of the objects on the screen. The custom button is similar to a pad or a switch, but it means we can actually change the graphic which it shows when it's selected or deselected. Here, if I click on the properties panel, I can tell it to display hold when it's off and held when it's on. I can also change the font size. I'm going to rename this Hold 1 because it's going to be the hold button for the range control on track 1. Similarly, I'll rename the others Hold 2 and 3. And finally check that the range objects are called range 1, 2 and 3. In the behavior tab for the range control, I can see this box called drag. In here I need to type in the name of my hold button, so hold 1. Its variable is x, so hold1.x. Now when I select hold, it allows me to drag this band up and down. So here we have our band pass filter. Then I just need to do the same for tracks 2 and 3. Next I'm going to add a drop button. So when I take out the bass frequencies, the highest frequencies, and I'm building it up, it's nice to be able to hit a switch and drop all the frequencies back in for full impact on the dance floor. So to do this, I'm going to add a pad. And when I push it, it's going to activate a really simple script which turns off the hold function and moves the filters to their maximum and minimum values. So I'm going to color this red. And name it Drop 1. I need to go and find this in the browser on the right. And then I click on the script button, and now I can create a script. I'm going to call it Drop. I want this script to be activated whenever X increases, or in other words, whenever the drop button is pushed. The first thing this really simple script needs to do is to deactivate the hold function. So hold 1. So hold1.x should equal 0, and we end each line with a semicolon character. The script's second job is to take range 1 and make sure that its two parameters are at its minimum and maximum values. So range1.x equals curly brackets 0 and 1. Let's test that. I can move these filters, activate hold, drag it, and press drop to reset. After copying and pasting to tracks 2 and 3, I just need to check the scripts and update them. So hold 1 becomes hold 2, range 1 becomes range 2. And the same for track 3.